In the past week, we posted a thrilling adventure to a huge power station, but because something went wrong after the upload, there's a chance you missed it. Check it out if you haven't seen it. In this episode, I'm in France with Frank. We're about to visit a nice French manor. On the way, we have to cross some creeks. It goes wrong just before I start to film.
Oh my god, the tree trunk broke. Are you wet?
Yeah, a little bit.
To protect the location against thieves and vandalism, we don't show the outside. We get inside fairly easy and start in the kitchen. It looks pretty clean, but when you take a closer look, you can see it has been abandoned for some years. Here's a coat hanger, or gun rack, which you see pretty often in castles and manors. It's made from deer paws, and above there's often the animal head, in this case a boar. You can also find some other animals, which are probably hunting trophies. We continue our explore in the dinner room. In this manor, it looks like everyone suddenly disappeared. The house is left really tidy, and it looks like somebody could return any moment. Many people will say it's not abandoned, but it's just the state of the building before it gets vandalized and looted. But hopefully the manor will be inhabited again before that happens. It's not a typical manor, which is called manoir in French. There are a lot of big windows. Normally there are some small windows with shutters. Also the layout of this manor is completely different. You can check a typical French manor in this episode. Wow, check this out, man. Back to our manor. In the living room you can find not one, but two pianos, which is quite unusual. Time to check the upper floors. As we see in many abandoned manors and castles, the roof is broken and they try to collect the water in buckets, but they almost never get emptied. When a roof is broken, the building turns into a ruin really fast. There are many intact bedrooms. They're almost as beautiful as in a castle. The people must have been really religious. In the whole house we could find crosses and religious statues. We also find a remarkable tiny chair. In this bedroom I like it that everything matches. With all these items left behind, it gives a good insight how these people lived. When I see the doors, I think everything has been forced. So I think thieves were here first and then probably stole all the expensive stuff. It's a shame. Yeah. I think normally there's like jewelry inside these. still full of stuff. Let me see if there's a date on it. Oh, expires in 1999. So my guess is that it's abandoned for quite a while, eh? Doesn't look like it because there's not that much dust as I would expect. Yeah, everything. It's a funny thing about castles, I can open all the drawers and see what's inside. Yeah. You can smell all the soap. Yeah. We even find a giant toilet roll, just when the rush on toilet rolls began. Once they run out, they know there's a big one here waiting. We walk from one room to another. This big room was probably the master bedroom. We saw a picture of a soldier a couple of times already. Could he have been the owner? I wonder how everybody just disappeared and left all their belongings behind. In castles, you often see that the heirs don't want to inherit it because a castle is a burden. It costs a fortune to maintain it. In other cases, the family fights over the money, but in this case, I don't have any clue what happened.
Also some nice stuff.
Yeah.
Things.
Oh, I like the magnifying glasses. Yeah.
Cool.
Another open window. It's pretty sad to see. Check nobody sees us, and then we just gonna close it because we're only gonna get more water damage here. That's one. Yeah, just some more rooms. We find more war-related stuff. A lot of magazines about the Second World War. Inside these magazines, we find a lot of Nazi propaganda pictures. Unfortunately, we can't show them. The closets are filled with glassware and tableware. I wonder how long it will be preserved. The amount of bedrooms is insane. It must have been a really big family. We find a great looking library or study room. There are a lot of old books slowly deteriorating. There are even some books with a leather book cover. Look at this cute book. Look how tiny the letters are. I think the old people need the magnifying glasses, which we saw.
Down in the hole.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, it's bigger. Better to carry instead of the big ones. Cool. Let's put it back. Here is the military guy again. I guess all the children have the pictures in his room. I guess he wasn't home a lot, huh? They all have pictures so they could remind him. Got another piano here. It's like the storage room, with the furniture. At last, we explore the storage room. We find a lot of vintage stuff, like this old game. I could look around here for hours, but the sun is setting and it's time to go.